Hi, this is Stephanie Scheetz, again having a terrific time at the Clear Snap booth in CHA. I'm going to be doing a project today that involves marbleizing using the Smooch. Now, people have used Smooch to paint in little stamped images, but today I'm going to be showing you how you can create beautiful marbleized cards and papers for your scrapbooking and or card making and other gift giving. I'm also going to be incorporating one of my favorite tools, the rollograph. So stay tuned, I hope you have fun. Well, welcome everybody, I'm Stephanie Scheetz, and today I'm going to be showing you how to work with the Smooch product a little bit differently than what you're used to. You probably are familiar with Smooch by stamping something and doing detailing coloring with it, but today I'm going to show you just how easy it is to do marbleizing with it, and it's fun, and I tell you, truly addictive. Now, inside of the soft onesie, you have some paper that you're going to be pulling out. There's 3 pieces of paper like this. It's not the mat board paper, it's just the regular paper. Has a glossy finish. This is photo paper, just the kind of photo paper you would run through your printer, and this is what I find that works best for this technique. So the next thing we want to do is refer to your smooches here. We have a nice selection of smooches. They have a lot of smooch colors to choose from, so that's always fun if you have a lot of smooch colors at your table there to experiment. That's how I ended up with all these guys, because I just sat down and I just kept cranking out one paper after another, and each one looked gorgeous. So go ahead and kind of open up each container just to get it nice and prepped. Okay, now the tip on your Smooch applicator is actually a little tapered sponge. So it holds a lot of fluid in there. And you don't have to worry about it, you know, if the container tips over. As I mentioned, it's very thick, wonderful fluid in there. So, since you have your pieces available and you got your smooches all prepped, kind of what I do personally is I'll pull out the colors I want to have ahead of time, and you'll have a few opportunities to, you know, experiment with this. Just start dipping in your water there. Repeated it. Do one color at a time. Yeah, dip. There you go. Cool. When you go back with another color, then dip, and you'll see how it's spreading like that. You can dip another color in the center, and it'll turn it into a ring. So once you dip, and then you'll find if you dip within a pool of color, then you take your paper and make sure you're doing it glossy side down, drop it on top, gently press it below the surface, and pull it out and flip it over. We can go ahead, you know what, I think we're having success with the same color. Some of you have a lot of color. If you want to switch out your water rather and have fresh water, just let us know, or just work with what you got, because yes, definitely. Each time that you do this, yes, you can't use the same water, or rather the ink in the water twice, because it's absorbed. So when you dip and put your paper in there and pull it out, you're going to have to dip, put your paper in and pull it out. You can't use the same inked water rather twice in a row. Yeah, just dry it thoroughly, and I'll flip it over and I'll dry the back side. Now you'll see it's getting kind of warm. We don't want it to melt, so keep that heat tool moving around, but dry one side, flip it, dry the other side. Okay. Now, you'll notice that your marbleized paper obviously has been subjected to water and heat, so he's a little warped right now. And we want to make him a little bit flatter for the remainder of our card here. One thing we're going to be doing is taking out our mat board pieces. And I provided 2 mat board pieces only because I wanted you to select 2 of your favorite marbleized pieces, and those are the ones that we'll proceed with for our card making. The last marbleized piece, of course, hold on to, and you can, you know, use it in your store, or you know, maybe stamp a tag out of it or do something fun. But we're going to be doing 2 cards, so you'll want to pull out the 2 mat board pieces. Now, when we adhere our marbleized paper to the mat board, you can do a number of things. You're welcome to use the glue sticks that we have on the table. Or inside of your little kits, we had this wonderful double-sided adhesive sheet. And this is really nice too. And I like to take, and I will put my adhesive to my mat board first. So whether it's you're opting to use the glue stick or you're opting to use the double-sided adhesive sheet, you know, put the adhesive to your mat board first. And then you position that on there, you bet, yep. Just place it on there. And when you trim it down, you have the option of using either the craft knife or you can use the scissors. You're going to cut it flush to the edge of that mat board, make it nice and clean. Beautiful. And by flattening it, it transforms that marbleized paper even more, in my opinion. By having it nice and flat, all that detailing, all that beautiful swirl really pops. So here, this cardstock I'm actually passing out right now will be intended for the embellishments on the card. We do have 2 additional fold-over cards in the kit. Those will be used for the final card. Just a quick little rundown though, quick little tutorial. When you work with the rollograph, yes, you have your self-inking cartridge, and there is a little lid on it that you want to remove, either obviously before you use it, but when you insert it, you're going to handle it by the handle, slide it in, and then you listen for that click. Okay, when you hear that click, you know that it is in there safely. Am I borrow your thing? And then you take your stamp, which is this lovely rolling stamp here. That's going to be positioned in the handle as well. Press, again, you're listening for that click. And then the last thing that you need to do is engage it. And by that, I mean, pushes forward. Now the cartridge is coming in contact with the rubber, and when you roll it on the scrap paper, you'll ink it up and get all that ink around your image, and it will be ready to use. Thank you.
Thank you.
Then this is the last piece of paper I passed out. You can go ahead and roll it on here, and then you're going to look at this paper, and you're going to want to pull out, if you choose to, designs perhaps, like either the word love or hope or something. And then these will be used later on in our cards for embellishing. So go ahead and do some rolling on it. Go ahead and do some rolling on it. Again, I'm going to give you kind of an inspiration here as to what you can do. The simplest thing is just to wrap your string around your mat board piece. You can wrap the string around the mat board piece. And then all I did for one little extra thing is just to isolate a word or something and tuck it under. Okay, don't worry about the fold over card just yet. Okay, now it looks like a lot of you are doing your embellishing and about to finish up on it. I'm going to talk about what you can do with the card now. When you work with your fold over card, it's already pre-scored, and so you can just fold it in half on the scored line. And for this, you can do, again, using your rollograph, you can do a simple rolling down the border, which is just what I did here, just to get some words on the front. I love using words as design elements, and this is a perfect stamp for that. Okay, that's an option. Another fun option is to take your fold over card, and you can fold back that front cover. You can fold back that front cover so you can almost create a tri-fold card as well. Okay. When you adhere down the mat board piece, there's some options. I would probably gravitate more to the tape. There's not a lot of dimension with the string. Sometimes I prefer something like a glue instead, something stronger, but you can get away with using the rolling tape to adhere your mat board to the card front. Okay, after we do our cards, I'm going to give you a little tip on the envelopes, because there's some fun ways of doing the envelopes with that rollograph as well. Okay, so some of you are dipping into your envelopes here. Let me give you a couple options. I love decorating the flaps. I love to decorate the flaps. So if you want to, you can take your envelope and just decorate the flap, which is kind of fun. That's a neat thing to do. And in order to do that, you would just take some of the scrap paper. Now pretend this is scrap paper here, and you just isolate that envelope flap. Isolate the envelope flap, and then you can roll it and not worry about any of the and not worry about any of the inking going where it shouldn't. Here we go. This is rolled paper. All I did was take some rolled paper and trim it down to an 11 by 11 inch size. Okay, so I'm going to pass this out. And it's slightly curved, but that's just because it was on a roll. It won't affect anything. I'm going to have you fold it first to learn how to fold it. And then if you choose to do some stamping on it, rolling and so on, all you have to do is unfold it and dry the ink thoroughly, and then you have all the fold lines to refold it. Okay, so in order to do our envelope, we're going to take it, and because this is curling, we'll go ahead and have the curled side up like this. We're going to do corner to corner, like that. Okay. Next, we're going to take one of our cards. Okay. Yep, corner to corner. Then we're going to take one of our cards, and along the folded edge, we're going to position it so he's in the center. Now you can gauge it with it being in the center by looking at these little areas. If they both look about even, then you know you're about center. Okay. Then we're going to, I call it hugging the card, hugging the card. We're going to take the outside corners and hug our card. Hug our card. Now the last thing is this little guy, this little tab you see on the front. Go ahead and continue folding there. We're going to take this and we're going to fold him back. And he's going to fold back, not quite to the edge here, but so he's more lined up with this V point. Now next we're going to take, and if you put your finger, we bring him around and we flatten him down like a diamond. So bring it around, put your finger in there and flatten it down like a diamond. Now the last part to this is people commonly think at these points where the corners are, that's where they fold. No, you're going to take it because you still have, make sure your card's positioned flush with the bottom here. We know where to fold it. That's the top of our card. That's the top of our card, so that is where we're going to fold. Now we have all our folding done. We're going to remove our card because that was just a holder, a spacer. And then you have a couple options. You can either put the card inside, all the way inside, and refold everything, or I like to take it in this nice little pouch in the front. I will take it and I will slide it in there and then bring this around and fold it down like that. And right now it's kind of buoyant, because it has the folds there and it has a dimensional card inside. But as I mentioned, just take some of those little flat glue dots or a little bit of glue stick, and just in some strategic spots. I wouldn't seal it completely closed because you still want access to your card for today. But if you were to complete your envelope, then slip this in another envelope if you want to send it. Yeah, so there you go. And then that's it. If you choose to, you can take your card out, and what I did with mine is I just inked it all up and made it nice and pretty, or you can leave it like this if you prefer and just have a nice simple folded envelope that way. I hope you had fun, so thank you very much. You all did a good job.